Welcome back to Park to Prem. Today is episode number 19. Today we are finishing season number 3. An FA Trophy semi-final awaits us. A final if we make it that far as well. Let's run the intro and get straight into things, shall we? How are you lovely not doing? Welcome back, as I already said, to Park to Prem. I hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. If you want to help support this series, and I always mention this at the end of videos, why not mention it at the start of things? Leave a like on the video. It'd be amazing if we could hit 3,000. We've not hit that in a little while. Today, as I already mentioned, FA Trophy semi-final, Kidderminster Harriers. We knocked them out of the FA Cup earlier on this year. We've got a rematch against them. And of course, just as a little reminder, the FA Trophy, the competition we find ourselves in, it is the equivalent of the FA Cup, but only for non-league teams. A competition that we had to go for a number of qualifying rounds for. Somewhere in this list of teams, we exist. Here we are. We beat Ramsgate 1-0, beat Yate Town, beat Chorley, beat Blythe Spartans, beat Spennymoor. And all of a sudden, we're in the semi-final, having not played a single team in the National League. We really have been jammy in this cup run to avoid all the teams that play in the Vanarama National League, which I am somewhat grateful for. We would have to beat one of them if we make it to the final. If we do make it to the final, that match we will also be playing on camera today. I am determined to end the season today. This is going to be the finale of the year because if we just look at the Southern League Premier Central Division, we have pretty much all but mathematically secured the league. Halsall Town are the only team that could possibly catch us, I believe. In fact, that's a lie. Gloucester could as well, but ultimately, those two teams are 10 points behind us. There's 12 points left on offer for them with their one game in hand. We've bottled things before. Don't think we're going to bottle this from here. Now, of course, last episode we took on Spennymoor in the FA Trophy quarter-final. We won that game. We followed it up with 3 wins in a row. Leamington, one of the teams we were able to beat. A highlight result against them, actually, in this game here. A 4-1 result and a new hero, dare I say. A new record youngest goal scorer in Norman Hamilton. This guy came through our youth intake last episode, and if you didn't watch to the end of last episode, you missed the best youth intake ever. Here it is. It goes without saying, you might have noticed all our players have real faces. Yes, I have installed the new GAN face pack. I will have a link to it down below. Essentially, it is a AI-generated set of faces that you can apply to your Football Manager game, where the regens take on the correct ethnicities of the players with these generated faces. And I don't know about you, but I do feel like it's nice to have players like Sam Kelly with an actual proper face. They feel more human all of a sudden. Here is Alex Holchuddy, and I don't know about you, he looks like a Holchuddy to me. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. It's something that I have delayed putting into the game because there was actually an issue with Football Manager until the most recent patch with how regen faces were handled. That's all been solved now. As a result, yeah, the youth intakes and all future regens across the entire game, might I add, will have real photo faces. So, yeah, we can get more attached to them. They feel like real people all of a sudden. I won't be doing a full guide on the new GAN face pack, but I will put a link down in the description if you want to check it out. One of my favourite mods. We used it in last year's Park to Prem from, I think, the Championship onwards. And I do feel like, especially when you're 10, 15 years into a save game, it's kind of nice just to have everyone have proper photo faces still. Anyway, I was in the middle of bigging up Norman Hamilton. Not only did he score on his debut against Leamington, he went on to score 2 more against Cirencester here. A goal from the spot, another goal from open play as well. This guy, I might have been given some penalties to help inflate his stats, but make no mistake, at 16 years old, 3 goals in 2 games, a man of the match performance as well. Just a shame he got injured and missed our most recent game. He's back in the starting 11 for today's game, I think. Our most recent result was a draw against Banbury. Not exactly an ideal result. Ducker with the only goal of the game for ourselves. A player who's been a bit of a backup player. I might be selling him in the summer. I don't want to say it too loudly, but the Duck might have served his purpose as a backup striker after 1 year. I need to go back to the youth intake screen, but honestly, the amount of players that have come through this intake and had an immediate impact. Norman Hamilton has played. Jack Skidmore became the youngest ever player to play for Rugby Town FC at 15 years old. He smashed a record that was decades old. You can see he actually got an assist in one of the 2 games he's played in. And as a result of how good some of these intakes were, I am just trying to give these players first team football. You can see here Mike Roberts came on off the bench as well. A player who is massively lacking in the physicals, but mentally and technically, he is one hell of a footballer. And yeah, I mean, when you look at the squad now, it looks very, very bright, the future. And well, when you look at the squad now, you might notice one new name. You might remember last episode, I talked about Ross County having some players that I was keeping half an eye on. We'd picked up Pritchard from them in February, and I'd mentioned the fact they didn't have all their players contracted. One of those players got released, that player, Andrew Slight. This guy is capped for Scotland's under-19s team. He is insane. He is far too good for our squad. He's currently on £5 a week because he's 16 years old, but he will be joining us on a permanent senior deal when he turns 17 on £200 a week. What a phenomenal player this guy is. Super consistent. Can't believe that Ross County released him. Their loss is our gain. So cheers, Ross County. They might be the best unofficial affiliates ever. I mean, I don't want to big him up too much. He's literally listed as our second best player by current ability according to our staff. He's 16. This guy is the future left back. I hate to say it too loudly. I don't want to upset him, but Matty Waters, yes, I know you've got 27 assists this year. I think he might be replaced by Andrew next season. But you know what? Matty would still be a very, very good squad player with his versatility. It's kind of funny. I weighed up not including the bit where I talked about Ross County last episode, and well, I'm glad I kept it in now. One of those two players released. I have been having a close eye on them. In fact, if we go to our shortlist here of players who are, well, players I'm closely monitoring, you can see here there's a few more Ross County players. For whatever reason, some of their better youngsters, they've just not got on permanent deals. You can see I've got certain players shortlisted here. These are their better young players who, as you can see, are all on amateur NA contracts. So if they release any of these players, I do intend to pounce. So, yeah, Ross County, just release them. Let them go. I'll take them in. So, like I already mentioned, the league, whilst it's not officially confirmed, we are very likely to win it with our very next game. We need one win in our last three, and that assumes that the two teams behind us win every one of their games, which does feel a tad unlikely. As for ourselves, we're not going to worry about everyone else. Instead, we're going to worry about Kidderminster Harriers. Playing in the Vanarama National League North, we beat them in the FA Cup. You might remember they had 2 sendings off when we took them on. Can't imagine that's going to happen again, but I really want to back us to get a result here. We've had a very, very fortuitous run through the FA Trophy. We've not played a single team in the Vanarama National League, only teams of the Vanarama National North directly above us. So I want to believe that we can get a win here, and we will get a win here, but I know it's going to be tough because Daniel Olutunde is still out injured. You can see here, not ready for a fitness test, so I can't select him. Elsewhere, Rio McAvoy is also injured. He got injured in our most recent game and is out for up to 5 weeks. So his season is kind of over at this point. So with those two kind of arguably best strikers in the squad out, and Ben Perry also injured, a little bit of rotation needed. Gillen is going to start as our advance forward, and given his 2 goals in 3 games, or rather 3 goals in 2 games, Norman Hamilton is going to come in, 16 years old, holds the record for the youngest ever goal scorer for us. The 4-man midfield of Freckleton, Gucci, Kelly and Holchuddy looking very, very fine. They've got all those links except with Freckleton, who, just as a reminder, is on £90 a week. I really should have bigged his transfer up last episode more. He has turned out to be a really, really great addition in the defensive midfield department. As for the backline, not changing it too radically, although with recent additions like Jordan Talon and Andrew Slight as well, I feel like going into next year, whilst I won't need to sign any new defenders, I probably will be phasing out some of the old guard. I'm looking at Waters, I'm looking at Cartwright. Bradley might also find his position under threat. But whilst I might be looking to get rid of them into the summer, this season, I'm keeping the faith with them. We're taking on Kidderminster here. This is not going to be an easy game, especially without our 2 top quality strikers. Callum Gillen has really fallen down the pecking order to a standout 3rd choice this year. Of course, when we first came into the club, he was one member of our 3-striker system. He has goals in him, he can perform, but I do feel like his time in the first team is maybe slowly starting to wind down. Going to be interesting to see how he does alongside Hamilton today. Our new addition, 16 years old, starting up front. This is going to be a tricky game. We are going to be called into some early defensive action as well, because Kidderminster, ball at the edge of the box, Williams shoots, and only just whistled over the crossbar. If Kidderminster want to get 2 players sent off early, that would be good. Oh, God, Bradley is injured. Bradley's in a heap. He looks finished. Get it? Because he's from Finland. Except he's not actually from Finland. He's just capped for Finland. It doesn't matter. I hope he gets better soon. Might have to make a sub there if he doesn't get up. Meanwhile, we are knocking the ball around nicely. Hamilton to Waters. We might be down a man. You wouldn't know it based on this attack here. Hamilton gets it to Waters and his shot hits the crossbar. and only just goes over. Okay, I do not like the fact that Bradley's picked up an injury early on in this game, so rather than keep him on the pitch, I'm going to do the sensible thing and bring in Jordan Talon. You could argue he is a better player than Bradley at right back. Lacks a little bit in the technicals going forward, but from a defensive point of view, he is very, very good. Arguably, probably a better fit for a game like this one, where we are on the back foot a little bit more. Kidderminster, of course, play in the league above us. They're a very good team, playing a very big, compact defensive shape, which we've struggled to break down thus far, although there could be a chance here. The ball is spilled, it falls to Talon, and well, I've just brought him on off the pitch and gassed him up. He could only smash it into the defender. Only a couple of minutes left of the half. We are yet to have a shot on target in this game. I could swear Talon's shot just then was on target, but Football Manager says no. It's not exactly been a classic. Last time we took on this side, 2 red cards and a penalty inside 10 minutes. We gave ourselves an early lead from the spot. They've not been as giving today. 10 minutes into the second half, I'm perhaps going to have to weigh up doing some changes sooner rather than later. But without McAvoy, without Oyatunde, we are definitely lacking some striking options. Oh my word, Hull Chuddy has just been snapped. Are Kidderminster just the dirtiest team in the world? Is Hull Chuddy okay? He is okay. They're down a man. I've got to go on the attack here. So far in this game, Gillen hasn't exactly had the best of games. I'm going to take him off and bring in Fabio Ducker. Elsewhere in the team, I'm looking at Pritchard thinking, you could be a man for this occasion. A player who did not know how to play centre mid at all when we signed him in February. 2 months later, he's already accomplished in it. So clearly he has an absolutely insane versatility attribute. I'm going to bring him in for Sam Kelly, who's not been on his best behaviour. Hamilton I kind of want to take off here, but the only other striking option I've got that I could bring on would be Mike Roberts if I had another sub available, which I don't because I already was forced into a change with Bradley. I've made my subs. They're down a man. They've dropped their centre attack in mid. You know what? I'm going to make the change that I made last time I played against this team. Freckleton move forward. Pritchard move into the final third and play as a centre mid on attack. 20 minutes to try and find a breakthrough. This game will go straight to extra time, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it goes to a replay. Probably should have checked that before we reach this point in the competition. I feel like checking it now would be an admission of defeat, and I want to believe we could still get the result here. Why are they on the attack? Why is there a corner? Cartwright half clears it away. McAvoy for them shoots. Okonkwo, Brian called into action. Good save by him. Freckleton with the ball, lays it to Hull Chuddy. Ducker, options ahead. Gucci is one of them. He's going to lay it wide to Talon. I want to say fresh off the bench. He's been on the pitch for a little while now. 7 minutes left to try and find a breakthrough. Waters, loads of space, skips past his man, cuts inside, should pass, doesn't pass, scores his 4th goal of the season. Take a bow, my son. Legends say that growing up, Waters refused to use the Harrier kill streak in Modern Warfare 2 because he hated Kidderminster. If it's a rumour, I think it's been proven here. He scores from an impossible angle, the left back. Kidderminster down a man. Not sure what they're doing. They're playing an inside forward at centre attack in mid. Or rather, they're probably just moving the player around a lot in a blind panic. Their manager is rattled. We have been all over them in this game. There's 2 minutes left. Could have maybe told our players to chill out and not attack as much, but that is not the rugby way. This is the rugby way. We are going to the FA Trophy final. Gucci, take a bow, my son. I was a little bit worried that if we didn't win this game, it'd be a bit of an anticlimactic way to end the year. We are going to the FA Trophy final. We have a chance at fairly major non-league silverware from absolutely nowhere. And it's been a fortuitous run. We've been dealt a kind hand. We've got a little bit of fortune with games like this one. But make no mistake, impossible is nothing. Rugby Town, I want to say we're on our way to Wembley. I don't even know if the final's at Wembley, but I think it is. I think we're on our way to Wembley. Bradley is now out for 3 weeks. That's not exactly ideal. Pritchard out for a couple of days. I can handle. We get £15,000 of that result there. And we will play Solihull Moors at Wembley Stadium on the 9th of May. Bloody hell. Little old rugby. We're going to Wembley. Que sera, sera, etc. You know the rest of the song. What a time. Going into this competition, our aim for the year was to reach the first round. Somehow we've managed to make it to the final and not have to take on a single team in the National League. You could call it a miracle. You could call it a fluke. If the fairy tale is going to have a happy ending, we will have to beat a Vanarama national team in Solihull. But they're only in 13th. I want to think they're beatable. Now, in the meantime, we have got 3 league games to get through in the next month. But in the grand scheme of things, they're not that difficult. Maldon and Tiptree is a game that if we beat the team currently 18th and just outside the relegation zone, will secure us the title. I'm going to go make that happen. and then we're off to Wembley. It is official. Here you have it. 4-1 result against Malden and Tiptree sees us lift the Southern Central title. I can't remember. What's the name of the league we're in? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's a second promotion in a row. We've done this with 2 games to spare. We've actually got about a month until the FA Trophy final at Wembley, which we are doing in just a second. But let's embrace this. Let's enjoy this. We might have won it on the road, but it is another title won. And I really wouldn't back against us getting promotion next year from the National North or South. I don't actually know which we're going to get put in. We've built a mighty fine team here at Rugby Town, and the future looks bloody bright. 2 games left of the league season. Halesowen and Gloucester unable to win in their respective games. Even if they had won them, wouldn't have been enough. Plus 72 goal difference, 92 points scored. I'd love to hit 98, but in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. Carl Jones is out for 5 to 6 weeks. I can deal with that. Slight, by the way, Andrew Slight, the Scots, scored on his debut. We should watch that goal. He made his debut. He took the corner that they dealt with, or rather, they thought they dealt with, because he danced inside, finessed it. Middlehurst had no chance. Not a bad goal for the 16-year-old to score on his debut. Budgets have been set for the coming season. Wage budget of £7,000, transfer budget of £90,000. Truth be told, I don't think we need to spend that transfer budget. Might wiggle some of it into the wage budget, but I'm enjoying the sustainable approach we're taking. I don't need that much money, I don't think, to get out in the National League, North or South. This is officially the best ever league finish Rugby Town have finished. We are now in uncharted territory for this football club. Norman Hamilton got man of the match. Give that man some praise. Solihull await us. We take them on the 9th of May. It's a month away. A chance for some of our players to maybe recover from injury. Maybe we will be at slightly more full strength for that game. In the meantime, we're just going to go on a tour and a party for the last 2 games. I'll see you in a month. Had you told me that in Season 3 of this year's Park to Prem, we'd be at Wembley, probably would have laughed at you, probably would have assumed we were no longer at Rugby Town, but we are still at Rugby Town. We find ourselves in this miraculous situation. Solihull Moors await us, a Vanarama National League side. Just for a little bit of context, their key player here is Michael Craig. He is a very, very good centre mid, it has to be said. Almost certainly better than any of our players. If you were wondering, by the way, we did win our last 2 league games of the year against Kettering and St Ives. In the meantime, we have also had a game against our under-18s. We had a 2-week gap between the end of the season and now. I needed to keep fitness up. And well, speaking of fitness, fantastic news for this game. A lot of the big guns that we didn't really have for the end of the season are back. Daniel Oyutunde doesn't even need to do a fitness test. That's how fit this man is. So great to have him back in the team. You may have noticed he is wanted by Oldham Athletic. Hopefully that doesn't develop into anything, or if it is going to develop into something, at least we get some good money for him. Elsewhere in the team, Rio McAvoy. Yes, this man, a man who's been here since the beginning. 88 goals in the league for us, has way over 100 goals in all competitions. Gonna hope that maybe he can add a few more today. Been told he can play 75 minutes. In terms of the rest of the team for today's game, we are going with Okonkwo in goal. This guy has been absolutely phenomenal. We've got him contracted for 2 further years. I did just ask his agent how much I might have to pay him a week to keep him around. His agent told me it was £800. So, yeah, Brian might not be here for the long haul, but he is at least here for now. One notable absence for today's game is Cartwright. He got sent off on the final league game of the season, suspended for the FA Trophy, means that at the back we are going to be going with Talon alongside Samuels. These 2 guys, 2 very, very good centre-backs, fairly complementary to one another. At right back, we are going with Bradley. At left back, I did think about playing Matty Waters, but to be honest, Slight, who I didn't think was going to be in the team for this game, impressed me so much in the 3 games he played at the end of the year, where he averaged a 7.53 rating. Kind of impossible not to include the 16-year-old in the starting 11 today. When it comes to the midfield, Freckleton maintains his spot at defensive midfielder. Ahead of him, of course, Gucci out on the left-hand side has been a real revelation, stepped up halfway through the year, became our vice-captain. Inside him, of course, we have Kelly. He was Maycock's understudy. They went to school together, they came through our first intake together, and he really has picked up where Maycock left off. The 18-year-old continuing to improve, continuing to perform really, really well. 20 goal contributions in 40 21 league games. To his right, Hull Chuddy, a man who features in our Media Dream 11 for our division, at least according to our staff, our best centre midfielder, the 18-year-old, not the most phenomenal of returns. You may have noticed as well, he's almost natural now at defensive midfielder. Longer term, he may play there. For today, he's in a box-to-box midfielder. And like I already mentioned, Oyetunde and McAvoy are back in the starting 11 up top. It does mean that we've got some good firepower on the bench. Callum Gillam, an obvious option. Of course, his contract is running out at the end of the year. He's already provisionally agreed a new contract that kicks in at the end of next month. Elsewhere on the bench, Norman Hamilton, 6 goals in 4 league games for this guy. Since he came for our intake this year, he has been phenomenal. I feel like it is a combination of his physicals combined with his really good dribbling and off-the-ball movement that's just made him such a menace at our current level. Naturally, for a player who leans on their physicals, playing against a more physical team that play 2 leagues above us is maybe going to nullify how effective he can be. Elsewhere, Isaac Pritchard, who of course joined us from Ross County, is a good centre-mid option for us. Not had the craziest of outputs, but has impressed me in flashes. Ben Perry is also on the bench for today's game as a more defensive centre-mid option. Matty Waters, talked about this guy already. Probably hard done by not to be starting in this game. Can play left-back, can play right-back. If we want to change things up, if we want to bring on a set-piece weapon, he could be a good little option. And Tom Wilson is the last of the outfield players. Just a good little centre-back player who, with Cartwright out the team, finds himself on the bench. That is the starting 11 and the bench. Of course, the reserves is full of a lot of exciting young players for the future. And I'm as ready as I'm going to be for this one. Solihull Moors, so at Wembley. Let's do this. I'm not ready. I'm never going to be ready. If anyone is wondering, by the way, why is there no away day at Wembley? I've done a fair few away days at Wembley over the course of the last Park to Prem. I don't feel like there's much left of Wembley to see. Of course, if you've not seen last year's Park to Prem, maybe don't go watch it now because there's a quite big game about to happen. But after this video, go binge watch it. You might be able to watch it all before next episode. Factually impossible. It's like over 3 days of content. And Freckleton's got injured in 3 minutes. Okay. That is my defensive midfielder. Now, I've got 2 options here, really. I could bring in Ben Perry to play as the defensive mid, or alternatively, I play Gucci at defensive midfielder, which he has played a lot for us, and then I bring in Pritchard at centre mid. Oh, this is a really big decision to make this early. I think I'm going to go with Pritchard. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to play Pritchard, I think, as the advanced playmaker in the middle of the team. That is his strongest role without a doubt. We'll then move Kelly out onto the right-hand side. He will play as a Mazzala. Of course, this is a role that he has played many a year here at the club. Makes the most of his fantastic agility and some of his really useful mentals. And then Hull Chuddy will go play box-to-box midfielder out on the left-hand side. It's a spot he's played before. But yeah, I wasn't really planning on shuffling the starting 11 in 3 minutes. I have just noticed that Wembley does look quite empty for this game. I don't think the FA Trophy in real life is frequently a sellout, probably even less so when it's a club like ourselves. A bit of a fairy tale story. I don't know in the history of the FA Trophy when a team from the level that we play at, the regional Premier divisions, has made it to the final. I assume it has happened at some point. I know there's some non-league wizards out there who will be able to tell me. Nothing has been happening early on, although there could be a chance here. Bradley shoots, forces a save. He was offside, it wouldn't have counted anyway. The stadium doesn't look like a sellout. I am wondering how much money we might get from just the attendance of this game. I believe for winning this competition, we get £60,000 if we can make it happen. There's 5 minutes left of the half. We've had more of the ball. Not really created enough. Although, set piece late on. No Cartwright to aim for, but there are some players there. Slay is one of them. They clear it away, but Hull Chuddy is going to try and keep this alive. Bradley shoots, or was it a cross? I'm not sure what it was. I don't know if he knows either. It goes over. And to end this half, just a flurry of chances. Solihull Moors are playing 3 centre-backs. They've been defensively very sound in this game, and now they're bringing it forward. Kelly in behind. Brian, I thought he was going to be called into action. The shot, mercifully for us, hits the crossbar, goes out for a throw-in, and with 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, just a moment to calm down, everyone. It's not been a classic in terms of loads of highlights and loads of goals, but we've got to be in it to win it. we're very much in it right now. I am going to tell the players I'm far from pleased, which I do feel like is a bit of a gamble. McAvoy has not been good in this game, and with that in mind, I'm going to make an early change, I think. I'm going to bring in Hamilton, which might seem mad, but this guy has just been so good. McAvoy, obviously with that fitness test, only fit to play 75 minutes. So in a game where I know I'm going to have to take him off anyway, and he's not having the best of games, I feel like I've just got to make that call now. I really trust Hamilton, and I need to hope that trust is going to be repaid here. He's never played on a stage like this. He probably won't play on a stage like this, like many of our players, for what I imagine will be at least a few seasons. So we've got to make the most of it. Both teams are just a single shot on target. The game would go to extra time if it remains level, although that is not going to be the case with that goal there. I don't even know if Adeloye shot there. I feel like he tried to control it and miscontrolled it into the back of the net. Solihull Moors take the lead in this game. It's a corner. It's a taste of our own medicine, something that we've been so good at. And yeah, the ball is bundled over the line. What a deflating way to concede a goal. Okay, there's half an hour left in this game. We're having plenty of the ball, but just not creating enough here. With that in mind, I've got to change something up. And I think that's something I'm going to change up is just to commit men further up the pitch. Gucci is going to move forward into centre mid. Pritchard is then going to move forward as a centre attacking mid. I am going to set our wing backs to attack as well. We have got a few players on bookings, but I really don't want to use subs due to bookings. We've only got one sub left in this game as well, so I've got to think about it. Gillen is sat there. I feel like I've just got to hold it for now. They scored a corner. Maybe we can score a corner here. The ball is whipped in. It is headed away from danger. Pritchard is going to keep it alive, though, using all that acceleration and pace to keep the ball in play. And now we're knocking the ball around kind of nicely. The ball is launched forward. Tunde's through. And he fluffs his lines. He was onside as well. It was a golden opportunity. And he has choked. I'm just staring at that clock in the top left corner. We are running out of time in this game. I've got to commit more men forward. The issue that I've got really with our current team is there's not that many different shapes I can switch to. I've got a plethora of centre attacking mids, but not exactly a load of, well, wide attacking players. What do you do? What do you do? I'm going to make Kelly an advanced playmaker, play Gucci behind. I'm already committing so many men forward here, but we've got absolutely nothing to lose. Tunde with that miss as well. I'm going to take off Callum Gillam. You've been here since I first came to the club. You've proven yourself to be a nifty goal scorer. I really could do with you showing up. I know he hates important matches. He's the best option I've got. It's time to roll the dice. Gonna go for a fire-up team talk here. Some players have reacted well. Some have hated it. There is 1 minute plus any added time left. 6 minutes of added time. Nothing is happening here. There is no time left. 2 minutes left. I'm going very attacking like it's going to make a difference. We've been all over them in this game. We've created so much, and yet it is all for nothing. Is there to be a late highlight? The answer is no, and we are going to lose this FA Trophy final. And I feel like we were mega unfortunate in it. Sure, we rode our luck at times this season to make it as far as we did. But to come to Wembley Stadium, to lose the FA Trophy final by a single goal, a set-piece goal as well, especially when you think back to some of the chances we had, you can't help but make it feel like it stings a little. They lift the trophy aloft, the yellow confetti's falling. I don't want to see this. I don't need to see this. I'm going to just tell the players, unlucky. The board expectation, as a reminder, was to reach the first round of this competition. Gone on an absolute miracle run. Sadly, it comes to a screeching halt at the end. Freckleton is out for 5 to 6 weeks. Not ideal, but at least it's the end of the season. We get £30,000 for losing that game. There are people being spotted at the game looking at my players. Apparently, Mike Williamson of Preston North End is looking at Brian. If you want Brian, you're paying £200,000, just so anyone knows. Collective bonus is paid out £1,000. So we've still got £30,000 in the bank from all of that. All these people discussing my goalkeeper. Okonkwo's not for sale. Leave Brian alone. I'll tell you what, our bank balance going into things, this match was, I think, £150,000 less than it is now. We must have got some serious gate receipts from that game there. Can I get official confirmation? Will we get an inbox item through? I know if you're the home team, you get an inbox item through about the record, gate receipts, because it's a neutral venue. I'm not sure if we get it. In some other news, by the way, Harrison Jones signed a new deal at the club, so that's good. £650,000 in the bank, loads of wage budget if you want to spend it. The transfer special tomorrow is going to be a whole lot of fun. Might even be fending off some interest in some of our players, of which, if you actually have some really good value all of a sudden, I imagine, and the Green Star kind of implies this, that between our promotion and the FA Trophy final, our club reputation's gone up. Might help us with recruitment next year. That is almost, well, definitely going to help with recruitment next year. Anyway, that is season 3 in the books. We will go forward, end of season wrap up. We're going to go through it real quick. A disappointing end, but look at that league table. Drink that in. Something to be positive about. Okay, here we are, the end of the 2025-26 season review. Here is a list of all the signings that we made. Oyetunde picked up signing of the year. And when you look at all the new signings, I mean, look at all the green average ratings. Ignore the people down at the bottom. Those ones don't matter. We recruited a lot of players, but I think it's safe to say that those players we did recruit, especially Gucci and Oyetunde when they were fit, and Bradley, to be fair, with 15 assists, they made a big difference this year. Of course, in terms of transfers out, Miles Maycock was the big one. The 18-year-old left us to go to Salford for £225,000. He actually played 10 games in League One from kind of January onwards. Of those, 6 were starts. It has seen his value already rise up a little bit. Just as a little reminder, we get 50% of any potential profits in the future. I'm going to hope that a big club at some point tries to sign him, or we sign him back and then I get, you know, some of the money that I spend on him back, but that's probably a long way away from happening. Somewhat unsurprisingly, the board are giving us an A+ for our league performance. FA Cup, we got a B, of course. We got knocked out by Barnsley in the first round proper. FA Trophy, we made it all the way to the final, succumbed to that final defeat. To be honest, this was a very fortuitous run. We got a really easy draw handed to us, but you can only beat the teams in front of us. Sadly, we couldn't beat the one team we needed to in the final. And as for the Southern League Cup, Hales Owen Town, of course, dislodged us. Good news, I think. They lost the playoff final, so they're not coming up with us. So they can't continue to annoy me. Banbury United are the team that are coming along for the ride. Here is our team of the season. Not too many players I would disagree with here. Gillen and McAvoy hold down the spots up front. I feel like with Oyetunde's injury and, of course, the late arrival of Hamilton, just a little bit too late for either of those players to make it in. Elsewhere, no real shock inclusions, I don't think. We did win Manager of the Month on 5 occasions. We also set a record points total for the division. So a really, really good season, and really great to see McAvoy continuing to shine. He won Fans Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year. He got the most goals by a player in the season with 47 goals. Considering he was injured for a spell at the end of the year, that is a sensational return. Miles Maycock set the record for the biggest transfer fee received. Skidmore set the record for youngest appearance maker at the age of 15 years and 225 days. In fact, this bloke is still only 15 years old now, and I don't want to say it too prematurely, he's already improving. I feel like there were a few memorable moments this year. We hit 100 games in charge, which was absolutely great. Of course, we caused some cup upsets, in fact loads of cup upsets according to things here on our way through that FA Trophy run. Skidmore set that record for the youngest academy maker. McAvoy broke that record, as I mentioned, for most goals in a season with 47. Here, by the way, is the overall best 11 for Rugby Town after 3 seasons in charge. Let me know who should be in the starting 11, who isn't. Is there anyone who's completely missing off here? Also, how long before we ditch this formation and go back to our current formation? I want to forget the time where I had to play this shape. The board are very, very happy with how the season went. In fact, you can see here, pleased and delighted across the board for all the various aims. Yeah, we really have been making the most of the youth system. In terms of the aims for next year, they want automatic promotion right away. I feel like if that isn't an indicator as to how good our squad is, nothing else is. They really want us to be in the Vanarama National League, which, you know what? I expect us to be there too, but just as a little reminder, the regional leagues that we have to get out of, there are only 2 promotion spots, one via the playoff, one automatic spot. It's not necessarily going to be simple. The players are going away on their break. They will return on the 22nd of June, and we will return a little sooner for a transfer special ahead of season number 4. We are heading up into the Vanarama National North or South. I'm not sure which of those 2 we're going to end up in just yet, because we really are on the border in the Midlands. If I was going to guess, probably the Northern League, but given the fact we currently play in the Southern League, Premier Central, that just doesn't sound right, does it? There is loads and loads of transfer budget, loads of wage budget available. The bank balance is the best it has ever been. It is going to jump up that little bit more as well. The gate receipts from that FA Trophy final are absolutely massive. with all this money, I just want to invest it in the youth recruitment. Unfortunately, I can't ask for any more improvements at the moment. Maybe by next episode, it'll be even higher than the current amount that it's at, which right now is 1 gold star, which I know it doesn't sound that impressive. For our level, our facilities are bloody brilliant. I think the tricky thing about the transfer special next time out is actually that when I look at the starting 11 and when I look at the squad, I'm really happy with where the team's at. I think the big question is going to be, can we keep hold of everyone? Are there certain players like Brian that I'm just going to be forced to cash in on? Like I mentioned, would like to renew his contract. He wants £800 a week. We're not close to being able to afford that right now. And rather than risk losing him on a free, if we could get £200,000, I've probably got to have an ear open to those kind of offers. Anyway, that is a problem for tomorrow's Jack to think about. Until then, take things easy. Tomorrow the transfer window opens. Let me know where I should be strengthening. Who was your player of the season? Can we go on an FA Trophy run next year? I want to think so. I hope we've not just blown our one chance to win it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy. It's me, Jack. I'll talk to you all in a bit. I'm out.